What can I say except you're welcome?
Hey there, marvelous Disney fans! Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're talking about every difference between the live-action Moana and the original animated film. Let's take a look. Man, I love Disney, but no, we did not need a live-action Moana. And honestly, I had a bad feeling ever since I saw the trailer, because the CGI Hei Hei did not work for me, who, by the way, is my spirit animal, nor did the Kakamoras. Yet, I had to turn up and see how the whole thing pans out. And yes, it follows the 2016 animated gem beat by beat. While that did attempt to give a nostalgia kick, I can't understand the reason behind making a live action because frankly, the original Moana isn't even that old. See, for those who are watching Moa and Hei Hei embark on their journey to find Maui for the first time, Disney's recent money grab might be a decent watch. But for those of us who embraced the 2016 animated film and went in for the live action, it's blasphemy. However, I'll give credit where credit's due. Catherine Lagaaya did a great job at playing the titular character. Now, there's another reason the movie is facing backlash, and that's because Thomas Kyle diverged from the original story in various places. Yeah, it's infuriating, because firstly he prints out a copy of the animated version script and follows it, and then gambles to incorporate changes. Anyway, let's look at every major difference between the live-action film and the 2016 animated beauty before you decide whether to give Kyle's work a chance.
To talk about myself. Because if you are, I will gladly do so.
Before we dive into all the differences, here's a quick refresher on what actually happened in the 2016 Moana, and honestly, I don't think this one even needs a spoiler warning. The story actually started 1,000 years before Moana was even born. Maui, a demigod, decided to steal the heart of Te Fiti, the island goddess who created all life, because he thought that he was doing humanity a favor. However, things went awry in the blink of an eye, when the theft awakened the fiery lava monster known as Te Kā. Soon, a curse slowly began spreading across the ocean, causing islands to lose the life Te Fiti had once blessed them with. Fast forward 1,000 years, and the ocean chose Moana, even when she was a baby, to return the heart and save her people. Now, though Moana was expected to become the next chief of Motunui, she always felt this irresistible pull toward the sea, and before Grandma Tala passed away, she revealed to Moana that their ancestors were once legendary voyagers. She then handed Moana the heart of Te Fiti, and urged her to finish the mission the ocean chose her for. After a lot of convincing, Moana finally got the extremely stubborn and overconfident Maui to join her on the journey, and along the way, the two slowly became friends. Moana and Maui is one of the best dynamics I've ever seen. In the end, Moana realized that Te Kā was never the real enemy. Turns out the lava monster was actually Te Fiti herself, who got corrupted after losing her heart. Once Moana returned it, the curse was lifted and peace was restored. She finally headed back home to lead Motunui into a new era of voyaging.
Sometimes in life, you're the hero, and sometimes you're the bait.
Moana's interaction with the sea has been reduced. Remember the opening scene of the 2016 film where we saw the uber-cute toddler Moana with a pink flower tucked behind her ear, taking unsteady steps toward the ocean? Yeah, it still brings a smile to my face. She manages to help a baby tortoise get into the sea by protecting it with a leaf against the birds that wanted to make a meal out of it. And that's when the sea first magically whispered to her and started playing with her. Moana began finding one shell after another as the waves curved inward and then pulled back, as if welcoming her. As she moved forward, the water around her parted and surrounded her from the sides, giving us a beautiful, transparent view of the seabed underneath. A wave rose high as if standing up before Moana and gave her a hair horn. The water then kept playing with her and even landed her safely back on the shore. The most important part is that it offered the heart of Te Fiti right into her hands, but she lost it when her worried father picked her up and took her inside. This is one of the best opening sequences I've seen in a Disney film, and I'll never understand the reason to cut it short in the live-action remake. We don't get the anthropomorphic ocean playfully ruffling Moana's hair, and only one shell is featured. Even if it was due to budget constraints, this probably should not have been the scene to get trimmed. Chief Tui's backstory is changed. Moana's dad, the leader of the Polynesian island of Motunui, whom we famously remember as Chief Tui, had a fear of the sea due to a tragic incident in his youth. He and his best friend sailed past the barrier reef at night, but unfortunately their canoe was destroyed in a violent storm. Though Tui managed to survive, his best friend drowned, and ever since, Tui has had nothing but guilt in his heart and a deep disregard for the sea. This traumatic experience also made him extremely stern against voyaging, and he became so overprotective that he made a rule which prohibited anyone from Motunui from traveling beyond the island's reef. For Tui, the ocean had become dangerous and unforgiving, and that explains why he panicked seeing Moana so close to it in the opening sequence. However, the live action changed Tui's backstory, and here, instead of his best friend, we're told that Tui lost his cousin in the boating accident, making the dynamics even more family-centric. Why was there so little Pua? I'm going to be 30 in a couple years, and yes, I still have a Pua plushie. Pua, Moana's pet pig, has to be one of the cutest anthropomorphic animals Disney ever created. Pua is so adorable that I was low-key happy that he got left behind during Moana's quest. Initially, Moana wanted Pua on board, but the little pig got too scared on the shore and left the clumsy Hei Hei to unintentionally stow away on the canoe instead. In fact, even before Moana set sail, Pua was always by her side, whether she was climbing or fixing something. Pua was way too loyal and a constant companion of hers, but the live action barely used him at all. Rather, it reduced Pua's role immensely to make the story move faster. The villagers had a larger role in the 2016 film. See, Moana was a bright and picturesque project by Disney. The greens, blues, and every other color used in the 2016 animated film added nuance to the story and made it all the more lively. However, we had different villagers playing distinct roles before the narrative completely shifted to Moana's voyage. Scenes like a man carrying an entire stack of fish on his shoulder, or a group of gossiping villagers being interrupted by Chief Tui dancing through with Moana on his shoulders, all made us feel closer to the culture and Moana's home. Then there were moments where we saw a man getting a tattoo, another being concerned about Hei Hei's eating habits, and even Moana making Pua drink fresh coconut water. However, in the live-action remake, the villagers are only used as tools to react to the events happening around them, and the director barely focuses on their lives and practices, making the movie feel detached from its core essence. Chief Tui's beard and Moana's hair were changed. Okay, you have to be really nitpicky like me to complain about this, but I'm gonna go ahead anyway. Tui, played by John Tui, looked more or less the same as his animated counterpart. He had those elaborate tattoos on his left arm and chest, curly hair, and even wore the traditional necklace, which for some reason got additional red feathers in the animation. But it's the beard that bothered me. If they were following the animated appearance so closely then, a goatee would have been used instead of a full-grown beard, because animated Tui clearly had a sharp jawline, which got covered under a thick beard in this movie. However, my bigger ick was Moana's hair. It appeared to be more wavy, like after the freshly done blow-dry rather than the voluminous curl Moana originally sported. And this is where I think they messed up really bad. And the worst part is, Catherine had natural curls, which didn't really require a blowout. Tamatoa's eyes. This had to be one of the biggest and most prominent changes the live-action movie made, and if you're a die-hard Disney fan, I'm sure you noticed it too. In the original film, the villainous coconut crab sings a song, Shiny, which was actually sung by New Zealand actor and musician Jermaine Clement. This song, however, was an intentional tribute to the famous British rock musician David Bowie, who passed away in January 2016. That's exactly why you'll find Shiny using the rock icon's celebrated music style. In fact, even the glittery visuals, the bling and jewels, and the stage-like ambiance was created to mimic Bowie's performance appearance, where he would often wear clip-on earrings and his costumes had intricate metallic tones. To deepen the tribute, Tamatoa was given an asymmetric pupil because Bowie's left pupil was permanently dilated. That condition was often misinterpreted as heterochromia, which it was not. Instead, Bowie suffered from anisocoria, and the illusion of different colored eyes was caused because his left pupil was stuck in a constantly dilated state. Unfortunately, the live-action movie solidified the long-standing myth that Bowie's condition was heterochromia by giving Tamatoa one blue and one yellow eye in the new movie. Moana's mother was given a smaller role. Moana's mother, Sina, played a crucial role in the animated movie. The chiefess of Motunui was a playful character, and we got some really cute moments between Moana and her mother. Sina initially tried to keep Moana safe by preventing her from sailing beyond the island's reef and respected her husband's beliefs, thus acting as a mediator between the father and daughter, whose visions grew increasingly different. However, Sina was also strong enough to go against Chief Tui's wishes and understood Moana when she decided to take matters into her own hands. One of the beautiful moments in the 2016 film was when Sina sang Where You Are alongside Chief Tui to explain the island's traditions to Moana. In the live action, Frankie Adams took over the role from Nicole Scherzinger, but the director rarely used her as the caring and lovely person she is. Most of her previous role was removed, and rather than being an anchor to her daughter's journey, she instead became an obstacle.
Maui, shapeshifter, demigod of the wind and sea, hero of men.
Maui's shark and whale transformation. Okay, this one was pretty bad, not gonna lie. Maui became a demigod, having been born to human parents and raised by the gods. He thus has supernatural abilities, like immortality and a magical fishhook, with the help of which he can shapeshift. When Moana first met Maui, both she and the audience were surprised to see Maui being such a comedic character. He tried to steal Moana's canoe, and the two were attacked by the Kakamoras, and after they survived the fight, we learn that Maui actually wants to find his hook, which he lost ages ago. And when he finally found it, the demigod shapeshifted into a fish. Probably an iguana if I'm not wrong, before finally his entire attempt botched and Maui became half shark, half human. The best part was that his tattoos too were changed accordingly to fit the hybrid transformation. However, this hilarious segment was altered where Dwayne Johnson's live-action Maui got the head of a hammerhead shark instead of a great white shark, and I can't see any logic behind this change. There's another small change when Maui regains his hook from Tamatoa and starts showing off his shape-shifting skills, but yeah, it's not exactly unmissable. The animated movie gave us one of the funniest moments when he leaped off a rock, transformed into a huge whale before crashing into the ocean and creating a massive splash that drenched Moana. If you remember, the transformation was quick and seamless, with Maui almost instantly turning into a whale mid-jump. However, the live action stretched the moment quite a bit. Dwayne Johnson's Maui first jumped off the rock in his human form and even struck a goofy pose with his hand under his chin before finally transforming into the whale. It was probably a creative decision to make the sequence feel more theatrical compared to the snappy, fluid transformation from the original. Moana's costume design. This was one of those changes that I didn't notice at first, but once you compare the two versions side by side, it's actually pretty obvious. In the 2016 animated film, Moana's outfit featured bright reds and creamy whites, echoing the bold Polynesian-inspired patterns, and they perfectly matched the film's vibrant art style. However, the live-action remake tones everything down, and Moana's costume loses its brightness, having been made with rougher-looking natural fabrics. The colors are also much more muted, and the designs are subtler, to make the outfit feel like something a real islander would wear. Even Moana's iconic blue pendant has been redesigned with a more handcrafted appearance to match the film's realistic aesthetic. Sure, in a live-action movie, it looks more authentic and historically grounded, but somewhere, it loses some of the colorful charm and visual appeal that made the animated design so iconic. Alright guys, that's all for today. I'm not particularly happy with the live-action remake, but for those of you going in blindly and having no idea about the 2016 animated film, it might just make the cut for you. No judgments. Let's know your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!